Hello everyone, welcome to a panel discussion on optimizing school operations with artificial intelligence. In recent years, artificial intelligence has made significant inroads into various sectors, revolutionizing the way we work, communicate, and manage everyday tasks. So, the education sector, traditionally known for its reliance on human centric approaches, is no exception. From administrative processes to personalized learning experiences, AI is poised to redefine the landscape of education. So, without further ado, let's meet our distinguished panelists who bring a wealth of education and experience to this discussion. We're honored to have Mrs. Usha Iyer, who is a visionary leader in education, known for her innovative approaches and dedication to sustainability. With over 2 decades of experience, she has transformed educational institutions across the globe, from Saudi Arabia to Nigeria and back to India, where she established the India International School in Bangalore. Usha's commitment to green education is exemplified by her founding of the Green School Bangalore, an award winning institution recognized for its focus on sustainability and entrepreneurial learning. As a seasoned educator and entrepreneur, Usha has been honored with numerous accolades, including the Lifetime Achievement Award and the Exemplary Leadership Award. Her work continues to inspire and shape the future of education. We welcome you, ma'am.
A very warm evening to everybody. It's a pleasure to be part of this panel talk. And thank you, Rishali, for having coordinated this so well. And all over to you, Mr. Arsh. Shoot the questions and let's begin. So,
Also, we are joined today by the co-founder of Gravitas AI, Mr. Aarsh Srivastava. Now, starting with a short and exciting opening keynote, starting the first question with you, Usha ma'am. How can AI fundamentally transform the operations of educational institutions according to you?
A very good evening to one and all. I am the director of the Green School Bangalore, and I have an expert right opposite me, Ash, and who is all about AI, and he is implementing it across the universities and the institutions and stuff like that. But still, according to me, if we talk about education, yes, AI can fundamentally transform, which I've heard from the schools like international schools and the operations of educational institutions by streamlining administrative tasks, is what I heard. So the admin task where people like spend endless hours, doing the nitty-gritties and stuff like that. So that becomes like quite a challenge because you are actually you're hiring a lot of people to do small tasks. So I think the AI can resolve it. And as far as the personalized learning is concerned, like my school, we always personalize education, and we work on a PD program for every child. So I feel like the AI can contribute there because I heard the schools are using it. They're saying that you can do the grading, you can do timetabling, you can do scheduling, and the data analysis. Everything it can be done through AI, and which is amazing. As far as I'm concerned, with my children are concerned, they're using ChatGPT, they're using artificial intelligence to write the essays. And of course, the plagiarism is one part of it where we're trying to keep it as less as possible. But I think it's saving time, is what I feel, which the children are doing, and which the teachers also, to an extent, they are using it for their classroom teaching and stuff like that. So we can always say that teachers can be more focused on the other things if the AI takes over a lot of their tasks so that they can do other meaningful tasks, is what I feel about it. And we can also, this AI, this is a interactive platform. I think a few of the schools which I heard in conferences and all, they're using it. And probably, it can cater to the individual student learning styles and the paces and stuff like that. And so that is how I got the recommendations and conferences and stuff like this. So this can lead to improved academic outcomes, I feel, as an educationist, and of course, keep the student engaged, is what I feel, Rishali, about it. As simple as that.
Right, yeah,
Thank you
definitely. And
so
I,
much
I
for
I
your
also,
insights, ma'am.
yes,
Yeah,
sorry, go on, please.
yeah. No, no problems. Continue.
Okay, so I agree with what has been said, and it's very important that these fundamental problems should be resolved because there's a lot of time which gets wasted in the BAU activities, and the whole focus of the organization, like the schools or the education institutes, is to provide the right kind of education. So technology is an enabler which can help in providing the comfort so that they can have more time to spend on the right kind of activities and not just worry about the BAU activities like telling something someone, or maybe like providing answer to a query, or doing some BAU activities like payments, or providing information, setting up timetables, etc. All of that. So there are different stakeholders in this whole ecosystem, and they can be benefited at different levels with different kind of solutions. For example, people who are outside the ecosystem is still a part of the ecosystem, the parents, and they can get benefited by the right kind of information, right kind of notifications, etc., through our AI-based solutions, and that can be different through different digital touch points. For example, if it's a website where they are trying to get some information from, they can have a chatbot out there where they can get the queries answered. WhatsApp is very much used, is widely used everywhere, and WhatsApp numbers can be turned into WhatsApp AI assistants, where people can start getting information and interact with the school 24/7. Even if like people are not available after office hours. So that is the power of AI, where the one problem that particular stakeholder can be resolved. Similarly, the whole ecosystem, as Mrs. Usha also mentioned, that there are different departments, and each and every department has got its own share of problems. So we have to carefully look at the user journey of that particular department, and see where the pain points, and then start driving out a program wherein we can design and define, like, okay, these are the set of pain points, this is the user journey, these are the blockages which are probably identifiable and easy to solve first, so we can focus on the low hanging fruits first, get it sorted, and then move to the larger problems as well. So there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of value creation which can be done through AI.
Thank you so much, Usha and Harsh, for sharing your insights on this crucial question. And in my opinion, also AI has the potential to revolutionize education by automating administrative tasks. Thereby, it frees up educators to focus more on teaching and student engagement. And definitely, as Usha ma'am has also mentioned, that it can also personalize learning experiences, catering to individual student needs like essays and any other need that student has at the mid of the night. It can solve that also, which teachers cannot cater to at the mid of the night, and provide valuable data driven insights for decision making. So thus the integration of AI can lead to more efficient, effective and responsible educational environments. Moving towards the next question. So how can educational institutions stay ahead of the curve in adopting AI solutions?
I think educational institutes can definitely, be ahead of the other institutions by, I think, collaborating with the people who have done the artificial intelligence. They've used it. For example, many international schools, they made robos. They have made things like that, so they can easily collaborate, and they can also have a cluster schools where they can discuss about this with researchers and all, and they can always come up with whatever the trends and the technologies and practices, that's the best practices happening across schools, that can always be shared, and probably we can adapt. Because I believe, because I am in this education field for last 40 years, and I feel like if we do not adopt technology, the technology will adopt you. So it's very important to adopt technology as way forward. Because I just noticed a few months back, when I was just typing something on the WhatsApp, it was saying that it's AI enabled now, and it's giving you suggestions. Like, is it about food? It's, are you talking about fashion? It's talking about this. So it's giving lot of prompts, so we can easily take that cue and start writing. Similarly, in LinkedIn, I've noticed, like, AI, do you want to use AI to write your posts? It's asks like that. So the AI is making our lives easier for sure, but we have to also use it very effectively. And that's very important. So we can also integrate the artificial intelligence into the curriculum, because right now, as a SDG school, it's a sustainable development school. We do everything hands on. We do the experiential school as it is. So we work on hydroponic farm, but definitely this SDG goals what we're working on, and working on a lot of things like the curriculum what we're working on, it can be integrated through AI, so that and we also have some industrial visits which my children do it because it's a part of internship, and probably it can also be integrated like that, so that the future job opportunities becomes easier. And they can also have an AI, they say that it's a virtual like VR, we can use it, so that they can also do the virtual reality, whatever they be using during the pandemic also. The children can use that, and then that can bring down the time of visits and stuff like that, because that's again like using it virtually. Then again, I feel like data analytics, by leveraging that, and probably you can have a better, valuable insights you can get into students' performance. So definitely, when the students are getting engaged, and the patterns, the way the students are learning, which you come to know of it, and probably the personalized learning can take the different little higher level it can go to, and all this can happen because of AI. So implementing AI actually driven student support service, or whether it's embracing online learning platforms like the tools which is available, a lot of tools which we can use it effectively, I think we can always have a better edge over the other schools. I think officially we see that AI has revolutionized education, and it's delivered it in such a manner that AI is a part of our tool in the whether it's a virtual tutor, or whether it's a personalized learning platform, or the interactive simulations. I think that everywhere that we are using it somehow indirectly in some form, because I noticed that one of my heads, when she was actually giving a paper, and she was saying, Ki, okay, how do I use this kind of a quick checks? And she's giving some questions. How do I know that these children understood this question, or whether they're answering themselves? We need to earmark whether the child is answering the questions rightly or not. So what they've done is they've used the AI. I've noticed that some teachers have used that the trial and error kind of a thing, and they've used the graphical pixel art to combine with that, and saying that if you answer this question correctly, the pixel art gets done out there. And that way the child will say, okay, my pixel art is not complete. It means that I'm somewhere going wrong. It's like that. So they'll know that, okay, if they're going wrong, then they have to correct the answers. So it's not that they're going to get help by AI. AI is being used to monitor it. They are making their own answers, they're doing it, but AI is supports it, because it's giving them the kind of a feedback whether your answers are right or not. Because it's not going to give you immediately that way and saying good, bad, ugly, but because of the art they come to know of it, that the answers are correct or not. So there are various ways of, I think, using AI, and it's a very fun way, gamification. A lot of things we can use it by making the lessons very interesting and classroom very interesting. So I think that that's going to take over, and we have to accept it. As simple as that.
Definitely, and this last example is really thought provoking because like how the young ones are using it. That's
Yeah.
really like something which is to be like taken forward, because there's an appetite to absorb this kind of support, and then as we as a society as well, we keep progressing further. We keep utilizing the new technology solutions available to us and start like thinking notches ahead. So in my understanding, like there's a pet framework which can be followed, which is like a plan, educate, and transform. So we need to plan thoroughly in terms of what are the pain points. As I talked about the pain points, different departments, stakeholders try to understand their pain points. Are those pain points connected or dependent to each other? And do a design thinking process for the whole education system, or for that particular institution in consideration. Also, it's very important to educate all the stakeholders involved, so that they are at the same level of understanding in terms of like what can be implemented, what is the power of it, how it will be helpful for them. Because traditionally, in technology implementation, especially in cutting edge solutions, sometimes it's a case where implementation can be done, and then there's a learning curve after that. So it is always beneficial to while to stay ahead in the curve, to keep parallel working on the education bit as well, and then start the transformation, because then we'll have all the educated all the people who are aware of what's going on, how it will be beneficial, and how we can take it forward. And then definitely like a full program, like it is a transformation program with AI solutions coming into picture with different stakeholders, different departments. So it will be like it will produce a lot of synergy quite quicker than what we can expect the other way around.
Thank you
That's a
so
good
much,
input.
Arsh, and yeah, right, exactly.
We
And
got a
thank you
good
so much,
insight from
Arsh
Mr.
and
Ash.
Usha, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you, Usha.
Uh, Thank you, Isha ma'am, for sharing the thought provoking story with us on how AI can simplify the task of both the students and the teachers by way of gamification. Also, adding to Ursa's point, staying ahead involves a proactive approach to continuous learning and innovations, and institutions should definitely invest in training their staff on AI technologies. To foster a culture of experimentation and establish partnerships with tech companies. Additionally, staying informed about the latest advancements and best practices will enable both the teachers and the students to effectively integrate AI and drive meaningful improvements in education. So, moving towards our storytelling session. In this part of a discussion, we'll hear real world examples and personal stories from our panelists about how AI has made a tangible impact in educational settings. So, my first question is that what was a pivotal moment when you realized the potential of AI in school operations, Ms. Sushana?
Yeah, the potential I realized, and when that AI enabled chatbots, what happens is this chatbots, what he was just talking about, Arsh was talking about chatbots. So one of my students actually, he was very eager, and he wanted to actually develop a chatbot on his own. And we were very clueless those days, because we didn't know that it needs back end encrypting, we need coding and all this to make the chatbot happen, because I'm not very technologically strong in the back end kind of a thing. But that child was very eager, and he self learned it rather. And our teacher also was very good, and she was helping. And I said, okay, what are you going to do with this chatbot, what you're creating? I asked him. So then he said that this is about 3 years, 3, 4 years back. So it was just the chatbot is like just like it was coming into picture with on websites and stuff like this. So he says, no, this chatbot is going to fetch you a cup of coffee on the highway. I said, how will that happen? He said, no, that is how I'm developing it. It's not come into picture. And then, we have a young entrepreneur program running in our school. And this young entrepreneur program, we always encourage our children to be very innovative, very creative, develop anything, whatever you want to develop in the STEAM Incubation Center, which we have in our school. And we say that we also are going to tie up with entrepreneurs, and they're going to pitch money on your ideation. This is what our whole program is in our school. So that fellow was saying, oh, my idea is going to be very innovative. Will anybody pitch money on my ideas? And can this become a reality? I said, why not? And by the time I think the child had to get transferred and he went to US back, then we just forgot about it. I said, okay, this chatbot, he must be like wanting to make something, he never made it. Again, after 2 years, I found another child. So she's making, Adya is there with me still. She's making a chatbot, and she said, ma'am, this chatbot will help us because it'll give you a complete insight about our sports curriculum and stuff like that to the parents, which they do not know. But I said, how come they don't know? Because we got a website, and they can go to that web. She said, website is not proactive, she said. Website is just a kind of a website where people just go and see it, but it's not interactive website. It's not interacting with the parents. I said, that's very fantastic. So how do you make an interactive website? He's saying the chatbot will interact. We'll feed in a lot of information. The chatbot will give you a lot of preview, and then they can ask questions, and probably they can get satisfied by this, and probably your admissions will increase. And I was very impressed with that kind of a thing, because ultimately any schools want their admissions to increase. So this is where I felt like, yes, it is very important. Then what happened is, when I sat with my team, that admin team, I said, well, marketing, it can be used, AI can be used for marketing, AI can be used for, admissions portal and all that stuff. Then when I was talking to them, I said, there is something called Sales IQ, and that actually has got a chatbot inbuilt, and it can give you a complete insight who's visited your website. And it'll also give you answers to the parents, because at dead night, I mean, dead of the night at 12 o'clock, a parent is visiting your website. You won't be there to answer suppose even if you have an admin there and you have fitted in admin to answer the queries, Admin won't be able to answer. The chatbot will automatically answer. We'll see to it that will filter the parents who are really good and saying, okay, this parent visited about 6 times or 7 times or 8 times. You'll be able to get it. I was very excited about it. I said, this is very fantastic. And in fact, we're using the sales IQ and we are getting a lot of response as far as admission is concerned. So I feel I'm game for it as far as admissions and the inquiries and the website handling and the traffic is maintained. I'm very happy with AI. So this is how you get an insight like where exactly you can use AI and where it will be beneficial for your students as well as your administration.
Yeah. So my like experience with schools has been way back. So it was like a couple of decades back. So I was in schools. Since then, I have not been that much involved with schools, but definitely on the commercial basis and on a, like others interactions with different type of people who are involved in it has definitely made me think about certain use cases, and those use cases were quite beautifully explained by Mrs. Usha right now. So on the basis of that, we have built up the whole ecosystem of multi-channel, omni-channel AI interactions, wherein the web bots, the web WhatsApp bots, the bots on the Google Chat, the bots on emails. We've also got email bots. So plus we've got bots on telephones. So all these bots are interacting seamlessly with the stakeholders, usually parents in this case or students in this case, and all the data which is to be collected in the form of leads, inquiries, details about like what people are talking about, and then maybe payments, registrations, everything. So that is seamlessly connected. So in terms of like when I realized this potential, so like back in our times, like there were a lot of challenges while we're doing our schools, and a lot of like things need to be like handled in terms of our education as well. So not from the school side, but like when I was in my MBA classes, so there used to be a lot of case studies, a lot of information to be prepared, etc. And I used to envision that at that point, so there's something which can help us get the results faster, because we had Google, and our times YouTube was a good place to start to look at different kind of videos where we want to learn about things. But something which is more suggestive and more interactive was something which I always was fascinated about. And thankfully, I got to work on those lines, say 4 5 years after my MBA, wherein we started with PDF annotation. So today, what we see as a very easy implementation on the front end. There's a lot of effort which goes into the back end to implement these things, but on the front end, we see like we can drop PDFs, we can get answers out of it. So back in those days, we were experimenting with a lot of data, say about 1,000 PDFs. We have to annotate all. So it was a 6 months old project to work through 1,000 PDF documents. So that those memories I have from my previous experience during my education, that I wanted to transform and like automate all the areas where people can seek assistance through AI, and they can focus on the larger goals. And one more important thing is that, as Usha also mentioned about, if students at this age start experiencing it, as in the case explained by Mrs. Usha, so that is the area, that is the time when they start getting more interest into it. So ultimately, what we're trying to create is the workforce which is interested in the new cutting edge technology, because ultimately, if they're interested, they will go after it more. And then there's a potential of utilizing that manpower which we are building up as a nation to start transforming more. So that is another area which is definitely very useful. But yeah, my memories are all from my the area, like the pain points which I experienced during my school.
Thank you so much, panelists, for sharing those compelling stories. And through both of your stories, we got to know and had a sense of that what we need today is a 360-degree AI conversational platform. And that is a must that each educational institution should try to get to solve the queries of both the students and the parents of those students. And in my opinion, also recognizing the potential of AI in school operation often comes from witnessing its ability to solve persistent challenges. And whether it's automating administrative tasks or providing personal learning experiences, and generating data driven insights, AI can significantly enhance efficiency and effectiveness in education. So, with this coming to our next part, to the next question, that is, how has AI been used to engage students in new and exciting ways? If you both can share some stories about the same, it would be great.
I think I was like aware, like I went for one of these conferences where they're talking about blockchain, the blockchain technology, which is used in AI, and where the children can be incentivized and you can give cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. So I was thinking, like, we generally do that, no? We give incentive to children, but if we say cryptocurrencies and can be converted into cash, because what we are doing in our school is we work on a lot of carbon emissions, lessening the carbon emission. We work on projects. And these carbon emission, which they're lessening in the environment, we convert that into carbon credits. And these carbon credits actually can be sold to the companies and they can make money out of that. So this is what we are doing in our school because ours is zero energy, zero waste, and a zero carbon school. So we thought, like, when I attended the blockchain technology, I was thinking, like, because blockchain, they also said that you can make it very creative. Gamification can be done through that, and you can teach them games and stuff like this. But children can also make apps. It's not only using a gaming app, but making the children make apps as well, gaming apps. So that will go into different level of that, where children may also say, okay, can I make a math which is very difficult for me to understand, and that could be made into an app, and I can understand the theorems and stuff like it better. So I think that we can take it to the next level. I feel like that. So I think that where they're saying that it can't be creative, it can't be this, I don't believe it, because it can become very exciting when we are using it in the right way, or maybe we are making the children explore in the right way. And that's where I think we have to tell the teachers also to make their lesson plans interesting by integrating technology, which we are doing in our school to an extent. We integrate technology, but maximum what the schools do is just use a smart board. That's what they do. Or they use only the tool which are available in the smart board. Max to max, what they did during the pandemic is took them in virtual reality field trips. They use that. But I think that we are going into an era where there's going to be holograms coming into picture. I think that even when Arsh is sitting there, it'll look as Arsh sitting right in front of me and talking. I mean, that's what where the era is going to come. And when we are going to be accepting that era, probably we have to train ourselves into it. We ourselves as heads, as well as the teachers, they all have to be trained into blockchain technology, into the AI, how to use it, so that it becomes more effective. Whenever I give a very small example to my teachers. I'm actually quite old in this era because I've seen that era 40 years back. You told me I have 2 decades of experience. When you're reading my profile, I have 4 decades of experience, in fact. So I'm 40 years into this industry. So I've seen that era where there was no technology. I've seen the era where they're just using smartphones. I've seen the era where they're just, using a lot of things like CRP and ERP and all that stuff. That CRM, ERP is all gone out of picture now as this has come into picture. So I think that's where the transformation, what Arsh was talking about. And I like the PET, what you talked about, Arsh. So that's where I think the training comes into picture. If that is done, I think it'll resolve a lot of issue, and people will come out of the myth that it is not creative and we can't make it more exciting and stuff like that.
I'm really I was listening very carefully while Mrs. Usha was talking about this, and I'm really very uh, excited with that kind of vision if the principals and directors are putting forward in the education industry, because the whole responsibility of creating an full workforce which will be taking the nation forward lies on the education people, and this kind of vision and interest in the technology will really help us transform and take the whole bandwagon notches forward. So there can be different mediums to engage people, and there are certain ways and methods to engage students, like hackathon, incentivizing them for doing some sort of projects, but also these days there's low code and no code platforms available, which can be certainly used to enhance the experience and the interest of students in that area. But we have to do some gamification into those, because if definitely no code local platforms are there, that is for us like corporates to work on and create, or maybe business users to work on and create some things which are useful commercially. But gamification of the low code no code platforms for creating chatbots or AI assistants, or process automation, that is something which is important. And as we start getting into that kind of technological era, then it will be very interesting for the students to start interacting with it initially, and it will start in, like they will start getting more interest into it. And once they have more interest, then we can start definitely like look forward to having an extended benefits from that sort of engagement. So yep, I think whatever you're doing at the moment, hackathons and etc., is really good. But definitely the low code no code platform companies, they should like definitely get into gamification of low code no code platforms.
I think that children
Thank
will
you.
be very happy if AI assistant is going to do their homeworks.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. I wish it was there in our times.
They're already
That's
doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Rusha, I think new age students are definitely using ChatGPT a lot for this. Plagiarism is an issue, definitely, but there are ways to tackle it as well. So, like
yeah.
technology can be, because uh,
So
well,
now to
like
tackle
hmm,
plagiarism, one AI is into the market, that is humanizing AI. So
hmm.
that is also not an issue for now. So AI is only expanding.
Definitely, and a lot of regulations coming up recently. I think last week or so, we had some regulations coming into Europe regarding use of
I
ethical
think
use of
these
AI.
homeworks will become irrelevant after some time, because
Yeah.
his homeworks are going to be relevant. It'll be more of interesting discussions, and moreover, the kind of the learning by doing is going to
Yeah.
come back,
Yeah.
because that's when AI will feature into it. And moreover, I think open book system
Hmm.
is much better, because that way you will understand when children have understood the crux of the problems and they're resolving it. I think
Hmm.
that will come into picture. I think future of education is going to be something very different. There'll be no
De-
classrooms, so
Definitely,
it'll be
definitely.
everywhere, anywhere, and I think cloud-based
Yeah.
classrooms will come up in the picture. So
Definitely, and experiential
we have to
learning
be
is something
looking for
which we should be
whatever
looking forward to.
is going to happen in the future for education.
Yeah, definitely for the good, and yeah, we should be looking towards experiential learning more as much as we can, because the more practical experience students gain, the better like they will be adapting to it, and they also last like to understand. They also start to understand not only the good things about it, but also like things which they should be mitigating. The risks they should be mitigating, things which they should not venture into, etc. With that kind of
All the
experience.
chalk and talk schools are going to close down.
Yeah.
But children are not going to be interested in going to chalk and talk schools.
Hmm.
Now itself, you will not believe it, Rashil. Like, we have got a lot of homeschoolers. Children do not want to come to schools to study, so they're happy with schools like ours, because they come for experiential learning and they want to do work in hydroponic farm, and they
Hmm.
want to come and do this. It's a design thinking school of ours, so they want to come at least 2 days a week, because they said we don't want to do this book, learning from textbooks, that we can do at home. So what
Yeah.
is the
Yes.
majority of the schools doing? They're just teaching from textbooks. And
Hmm.
today's children, they know much beyond the textbooks.
Yeah.
So whom are we teaching actually? Tomorrow's generation.
Hmm.
So we have to be aware of that.
That's a very thought-provoking statement.
Yes. Definitely. So, in my opinion, also, if I have to add on to this, so AI has definitely been a game changer, as mentioned by you both, and in engaging students by creating more interactive and personalized learning experiences. So, from AI-driven tutoring systems that adapt to learning, individual learning styles, to gamified educational platforms that make learning fun and immersive, the possibilities of AI are endless. So now let's move on to our next segment, that is the myth busting round, where we debunk common myths and misconceptions. So there is a myth that AI solutions are one size fits all and cannot be tailored to specific school needs. So what do you think? How true is this statement?
I don't think so, because see, when AI depends upon, see, I'll tell you a very ordinary feature first. When the chatbot, let's take Chat GPT for example. There you have to feed in the right kind of information to get the right answer, right? If you're going to say that you want to write about something on fashion or something, unless and you give the right wordings, it's not going to give you what you want. It's like that. So I think in the future, or probably now itself, it is going to be tailor made, because it will not be one size fits everybody. So it's not going to be like that, because if it's like this, and that's where the AI will be differentiated, it's different from the other things. For example, I'm using a product. That product will be used across all the schools, the same product. That is one of the reasons our schools don't outsource anything. I don't use a robotic people to come and teach. I don't use robotic products. I don't use all this, because I feel like We should be innovating and we should be creative. And that's where I think AI is going to give you ideas to become more creative. It'll give you more ideas for saying that become more innovate, become better innovators. It's like that. For example, if we are telling the children, we've got a 3D printer in our STEAM incubation center. We say we innovate, you give a command to 3D printer, create something. That is our whole procedure of the Young Entrepreneur Program, what we're running. So I think the AI will be very helpful in our STEAM incubation, is what I feel, because that way the children are getting a plethora of ideas. For example, yesterday it was like one of the challenges I had to make a poster, and it had to give a lot of captions. I was running out of ideas, and I was thinking, okay, what am I going to tell this marketing people to do it? I just used Chat GPT yesterday and saying, run a lot of captions for this, and this is a picture. I just put the picture there, and I got a lot of captions, which out of that I just have to create my own, and lo and behold, I had a very nice caption. It was like this. So don't you think it's saving my time? One. Second, it was very creative because it gave me a lot of options. Ultimately, I use my brain. It's not that I'm you copying and just putting that across for the picture, because it has to suit what my picture talks about. But then, we use our brain as well. But the thing is that it's saving your time and giving you more creative ideas. So I don't think that one size fits all is what it's going to be. AI is all about, and I don't think so.
I'm on the same page with Mrs. Usha on this. Even the most generic of the solutions like Alexa, so you still have to
Yes.
customize to your sleep schedule to ask Alexa to wake you up. So yeah, so it's there's nothing like a one size fits all. One size fits all is where the deep learning work is going on, where we are working on the where the technology people are working to create those algorithms which can suit to different sort of needs. But after that, once we start utilizing it, even at the infrastructure level, the big companies like the Googles or the Microsofts, they have to customize their microservices accordingly. And then when it goes to the real users, the companies which are utilizing those infrastructures like us have to customize then specifically to the user needs. So there can't be a one size fits all, especially applications. Product driven through applications can still be one size fits all in some aspects, say 80%, 85%. But here we are talking about artificial intelligence. We are trying to mimic human intelligence, and every other human is different. So even if you're carefully doing a AI solution for after like a lot of user research, thinking about a lot of aspects, thinking about the biases, involving a lot of people for user research to do the project, still there will be a cognitive bias, because you don't know who is the nth stakeholder, who will have a different type of opinion or different way of communicating. So there's nothing like a complete AI solution. It is not possible, but we keep striving for excellence in the AI solutions.
And actually, I want to add something here, because you have ChatGPT 3.5. Then I say it's or ChatGPT 4,
Hmm.
4.5, whatever. So I have a feeling like as it's upgrading, and whenever we are feeding information, I could see that there's a sense of like I heard, like, suppose I'm writing a note or a post or something like that, that now might not be sounding like the way I write, but I have a feeling, or probably I've also heard about it, that it can also write the way Usha thinks, the way I think. So that is going to be again another generative, absolutely upgraded version of it. So I think that it's going to take off in a very different manner, where I've even seen a person who's written he's written a book, and actually it's cloned that person, and that person is, I mean, the whole book is written as if it's that person only, and that clone also looks like the person who is actually speaking. We don't know whether this person or whether it's a clone. So it might be, there's a lot of positive and a lot of negative about AI, but still I feel like we should be like the way that we have to be warning the children about the positivity or the good things about the internet usage and the network. Similarly, we have to tell them what is a positive and how it can be positively used, not the crooked way AI can be used, like, morphing the picture or something like this. We don't want them to do that. But actually, we can do this, because I've seen my children using voiceovers. They made a video and they've used a voiceover. It is actually a AI voiceover. It was. Then I told them it is not looking nice, because this AI voiceover is actually a voice of a foreigner, and we are going to cater for a Indian community. Then immediately they understood and they have made the voiceover using AI with the Indian kind of a diction and this thing. So that's again a kind of a creativity, right? So that's where I think that AI is going to be transforming every day. There's going to be a kind of upgradation, and we have to prepare for it.
So thank you, panelists, for addressing this common myth, and thanks for making us believe that AI solutions are one size. That AI solutions that are one size fits all is a misconception only, and modern AI technologies are highly customizable and can be tailored to meet the unique needs of different schools and educational contexts. And yeah, we can through this discussion we can definitely say that customization is the need of the hour, and it is definitely possible, and AI should be viewed as a valuable tool that supports and augments the role of teachers. So moving towards the next myth that is common these days, that is AI stifles creativity in education, and how can AI be used to foster creativity among students?
Actually, it can be. As I was telling about the pixel art that my students use, and it was very interesting for them to answer these questions. So we have this thing like whenever we start a chapter, we have entry tickets and exit tickets, which is a very unique way of teaching because we want to know. Earlier, we used to call it as a the pre-knowledge what the child has and the post-knowledge after child has learned the thing. So how do you measure that? That how much a child knew it and how much a child has learned after child has finished learning. So this is very difficult to measure in any school. So I think that AI is going to make it very interesting because if we develop in that way, the way we have developed the entry tickets, we can develop in form of quizzes, with puzzles, the kind of the maze that teachers make. So they've utilized that this graphic arts and all. They have made it so they can also integrate AI into it with voiceovers and all. It'll become very interesting to make those kind of entry tickets. Similarly, the exit tickets can also make very interesting to understand the feedback of the children also, because sometimes the teachers are like children cannot speak and tell the teacher, hey, look, that the teaching was bad, or maybe I didn't understand. So this kind of feedback could be taken in a kind of a kind of a format where we come to know of it that the children have not understood so many, like 20%, like a poll. It can be done in the form of a poll, and say 20% did not understand this question and 30% could understand. It could have made a very creative way of doing it. Like, remember those olden days when the teacher used to make three rows and saying that, and she makes the three columns on the blackboard, and she says, now I'm going to give you marks, and saying which row is going to answer this question and stuff like this. Doing all this physically is a Herculean task nowadays. So instead of that, we can do this way, and it can really foster better understanding among children. And children also will be very excited about it. Like what you talked about, are sometimes gamification. This is a kind of a gamification, but it's a different kind of a thing because it's related to the studies, and children will not even understand that it's a part of the studies, but it will be like a part of that learning process. We can say that. So that is actually teachers can use it. As far as this creativity among the students is where the children actually have to make projects. So when they make projects, what happens is they have to make it. They collaborate and make it. Of course, nowadays there's no individual projects given. Even 10th standard, 9th standard, ICSE says that projects is about 20 marks. So now in we have a project based approach in our school. So we tell them to make it hands on stuff like this. So I think that a lot of apps now, children are using apps to collaborate. They're making projects. So that creative ideas to make the projects and to get the entire thing. Like one child actually made a rocket, so he actually used a lot of AI features in that, and then it was helped online, like he himself did it, but they all children collaborated it. Each one had certain topics to do it. So this became like quite creative for them to make something interesting. And suddenly one child was saying, "Why we have this kind of a globe, ma'am? It's so disinteresting because we do not know the time zone. We don't know this." So they are trying to go to the next level using AI and probably the kind of ideas coming from AI. They said we can make a different kind of a globe. So why cannot it foster creativity among students? That's a wrong myth. Actually, I do not agree with it at all. And even scientific things. In fact, one of my class has actually, I think I've put in the LinkedIn also, I've shared, like they were trying to figure it out, like, can we bring natural light in the basement area? They do a lot of research in my school. So they actually wanted to use this kaleidoscope effect, and that they took the idea from AI, this thing only ideas, and they found out a way where the natural light could be penetrated in the basement parking area. So I think there are a lot of things which children can innovate and create, and they can come up with plethora of ideas, and they can be the discoverers, innovators, and all that stuff. And I think that it should be used properly, is what I feel. I don't know. Ash can pitch in more things about it.
Definitely, I totally agree with what you said, and is it something which will definitely foster a lot of creativity within students. What we need to do as people who are taking AI forward is that we need to get to that mode of thinking in the same way as students do. We have to get to that age to make them understand how it can be used for their benefit. And again, the gamification, again, I'll go get back to that point, because that age is more about understanding things in more playful way. Experiential learning is something which is picked up a pace a lot, so we have to take these points together and work through systems, presentations, concepts, and also like how we get the whole knowledge transitioned into the students without making it way too much technical or too much fussy. So, and making them understand the benefits of it, and then fostering more creativity by letting them experiment with it. So there should be experiential labs set up, I think, which is traditionally done in technical technology colleges, etc. But experiential labs concept should be, I think that should be started in schools as well, wherein people can start experimenting a bit with things. They can come up with more ideas. It's not only about just developing the technology, but also thinking about what the technology can be used for. For example, there can be case study competitions arranged for students to come up with their own ideas about, like, okay, this is a particular problem statement, and you've got these many stakeholders who've got these sort of problems, and just let's throw those problems at them, and then let's try to understand what they're coming up with, because you never know, someone will come up with a great idea which might be a game changer.
I think this is amazing.
Definitely.
Yes. So this is what we also do, Arch. We put them in the real life situation.
Hmm.
So what we're doing is we actually teach them financial literacy through a hydroponic farms. So we
Okay.
tell them that you can easily do that because you're growing so much of food, and
Mm.
it's not only for yourself to sustainable, but it's also like, you're selling it. And when selling it, you should understand like how much you invested and how much you're selling, how much you're making profits. So this kind of financial literacy and agroeconomics and financial economics can be really taught. And this is where I'm saying integrate technology into this. Anyway,
Mm.
we are doing so much in schools like ours, because ours is a progressive school. Ours is not a normal school. We're not a run of the mill school. But I wish that everybody has, as you were telling, like they should have an experiential lab. I think they should have a thought lab. We have a thought lab. We have an incubation center. We have got children working on the tanagrams and stuff like this. They come up with such interesting things there, and I think you need to trust the children's instinct. Just have to push them a little, and I think that internet, as well as this AI integrated technology, is really helping children. I think we should let them explore, and that's where we are stopping them and saying, oh, you're wasting time on developing such things, gaming apps and all that stuff. That's wrong. I think you should let them do it, and I think that's how the entire learning will happen. The learning journey is going to be totally different, and I think parents are not understanding that. And that's where I think that you need a parent workshop apart from teachers workshop.
That's a very well. That's a very important point, because then those are the stakeholders that are directly involved with students, and they will
Absolutely.
help them they can particularly push them actually in that area. With not push,
Yes.
push is not the right word, but also like motivate them to get into that area.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Arsha and Usha, for debunking this myths and sharing your experiences by way of stories. And AI can actually be a powerful tool for fostering creativity among students, as mentioned by Usha ma'am, that by way of quizzes or by keeping workshops for parents. And as Ursula also mentioned, that through experiential learning, we can directly automate routine tasks, and then AI can free up more time for creative activities and critical thinking. Additionally, if we talk about AI driven tools can provide personalized creative challenges and interactive learning experiences, inspiring students to think out of the box and explore new ideas. So, thank you, both of you, for sharing these stories and debunking the myths that are common these days.
I'll tell you one more thing, Rushil, want to add here. We started something called Bamboo for Bangalore. Bamboo for Bangalore is an initiative actually done by Green School Bangalore. And because Bangalore's water resources have depleted a lot, and oxygen level also overall has depleted over in the on the planet. So our school, being a zero energy, zero waste school, have taken up this. So when they did that, we wanted technology to be enabled along with this, because when we are trying to plant bamboo across, and then how do we monitor how many bamboos everybody has planted? So we have actually integrated that in our website, and we have done a kind of to monitor the bamboo plantation, how many bamboos are getting planted, and we got a kind of meter running there, and which is again AI enabled meter, so that we'll know that anybody who's registering, they'll be automatically, it'll be directing to it, and it will monitor how many bamboos are going to be planted. Education Minister has supported it, Ishwar Kandre sir. He supported this program, and we started this program. It's getting initiated and starting in a very big way. So I am thinking that I tell everybody who's listening to us, AI can be enabled the way you want to enable it. And why anybody is not able to adopt and adapt to it is people are scared about their jobs. That's what teachers are scared about, that, oh my God, am I going to lose my jobs because AI is going to take over it? No, it's not going to, because it's going to enable it, just a tool, is what, according to me. I don't know what Arch is going to say. This is my opinion about it, Arch. I feel like teachers are still required because you need a human touch. And humanoid cannot replace teachers, anyways. So if
I,
they get that thought into their minds and saying that this is just a tool and it has to be effectively used, I think that will be really better for you to say that. And of course, even this iPads technology, whatever children are going to use, still the student interface with teachers is not going to lose, and their school will still exist. Everybody is scared that, oh, is it going to become completely cloud based? Then everything will become virtual. And again, we go back to the pandemic area. It's a pandemic era. It's not going to happen, because that's why as soon as pandemic goes over, everybody rushed to school because they don't want to keep the children so many hours with them. So it's like that. So I think that schools need to be feeling safe, that schools are going to exist, teachers are should feel safe, that their jobs are still intact. Only thing is they have to upgrade their skills, is what I like to add to this, Rishi.
I totally agree to that, and I'm on the same page. I'm a big believer of technology transformations and then people adapting to it. We have seen the eras where emails started, Windows started, computers started, and there was a huge hue and cry about that as well. But we have all passed those eras, and we are seeing another big change coming into the picture. And as we start upgrading ourselves and upskilling ourselves, it will be helping in our jobs. Obviously, like every 10 years, 20 years, the whole way of working, etc., changes because of technology. But we, as a human race, should keep adapting to it and keep leveraging the benefits.
So I would just like to thank Mrs. Usha that though it was not even my question, you have debunked one more myth. Like it was not even in my brains that AI can replace teachers. So in the way of conversation, you have already debunked one more myth. So yeah, that's it for the day. And thank you to our panelists for joining us and sharing your expertise on this topic. And your
Thank
insights
you.
into the
It was
integration of AI
wonderful.
in educational settings have been incredibly valuable.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Usha.
To
Thank you.
all
Again,
our
back to new
thank you
normal.
once again
Namaste.
for participating.
Namaste.
Yeah, take care.
Okay.
Thank you, Arsh. It was
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you so much for joining. To all our attendees, let's continue this conversation beyond today's session. Stay tuned for more engaging live discussions coming your way soon. Thank you.